the red cells. So this is going to be a red cell, and it's going to have 4 sticks. And on the end of each stick, this is the really technical term, is going to be an antigen. And that correlates to your blood type. Whatever antigens you do not have, your body will create antibodies against the antigens that you do not have. So antigens and antibodies act like a lock and key, and that's actually not a good thing. You don't want a lock and key because that's what will make it coagulate. So we're going to start not with the Rh factors, but just the general A, B, and O. So this is going to be an O red cell, and O actually is not so much an antigen as a lack of antigens. And so it's not going to have anything on the end of its sticks. It's going to be a plain, clear red cell. An A red cell is going to have an antigen that I think looks like this. And a B red cell is going to have an antigen that I think looks like this. Which means an AB antigen, or sorry, an AB red cell is going to have both. So it has some of these, which are B's, and some of these, which are A's, which makes it AB. B, A, O. Okay. So if an A antigen looks like that, an antibody would fit right in there and it would look like that.
Nice.
Which would be bad news if it came into contact with another one of these, right? And that's what forms a blood clot. So you want to avoid that. So we'll start down here. So if this has no antigens, what kind of antibodies does it have?
Lots.
Like what types?
Negative and positives, or I don't know what you're asking.
A's, right? Because it has no A antigens, so it's going to create A antibodies, and those just kind of float around in the plasma.
So A and B.
And B. And so the B's look like this. I know you guys don't have erasers, which is unfortunate. So this is an O. And this is, just like the plasma. It's going to carry those everywhere with it. Okay, so if this one is A, what type of antibodies does it create?
The O circle ones, whatever circle ones are.
Those are B's.
B's.
Okay. Right, because it can't have any of these because they'll lock in with that. So what kind of antibodies?
A.
Great.
And
Like
since,
you're catching on.
what about AB? It has both, so does it have both as well as O?
It won't have any.
Won't have any? So it'll only have plasma?
Right. So the plasma is like nice and clear.
Liquid gold.
Yes. So what we as a blood bank like to do is we like to take out pretty much anything with color, which I'm going to refer to as junk. So if we take the junk out of here, because we can't change anything about the plasma or the red cells or the overall blood composition of the patient receiving the blood. So the only thing we can do is we can transform the blood being transfused to them, right? So our donors are what we get to pick and choose what we want. The patients have what they have. So if this is an O donor, where is all the colorfulness coming from? The red cells or the plasma?
Plasma.
So we want to get rid of that. And we're going to send that back to the donor, which means we want to keep what? The type of component?
Red cell.
Red cells. See how nice and clean those look? So we want to collect all these red cells and give them back all the plasma.
Okay, so O, we can't have any plasma. Like O's can't donate plasma.
It's not that they can't, but if we had a preference and we wanted to choose one or the other, we want to choose red cells.
Okay.
Because they're nice and clean. So the two on the ends are gonna be the easy ones. So where is all the colorful junk coming from over here?
Plasma.
Yeah.
And then, so the
yeah.
red blood cells.
The red blood cells are creating.
So we wanna take those out. So my eraser is basically like the centrifuge. We're gonna centrifuge all the red cells out and we're gonna give them back to the donor. And we have this nice clean plasma. So the two in the middle are basically 50-50, right? There's some antigens, some antibodies, so it's not quite as cut and dry whether we want the red cells or the plasma. So we're gonna come back to that. So far, make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Antibodies, antigens, lock and key, you don't want both. All right, so when we add the RH factor, the positive or negative, it's the next most prevalent stick or antigen holder. And if they're negative, the negative is the same as O, it means void of, so these sticks are still going to be free and clear. If they're positive, that means their major antigens are clear, but they still hold so they have no A and B, but they do have this positive RH antigen. Which means they're not going to create the antibodies to it, but if you're O negative, you are going to create antibodies to it. So along with, nice. So it's gonna have all three of these if in the plasma if they're O negative. If they're O positive, they're just gonna have this one and this one, but they're gonna have these, which means that they can't go to anyone who has these in their blood, which is gonna be every blood type that's negative.
Okay, so that's same for A positive, and B positive, B negative, etc.
So, do we want to make this one A positive or A negative?
A negative.
A negative.
Yeah.
So are we gonna have RH antibodies, or sorry, antigens?
No.
No.
Are we gonna have RH antibodies?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be A negative.
Okay.
So this O positive, even though it doesn't have, anything that will lock in with these antibodies, this O positive cannot go to this A negative because of this, and this being in the patient. So, if we are looking at just the red cells, we'll start with the easy one. So we're going to take out all the antibodies in the plasma, and we have this O negative red cell. Who can they donate to?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so all types. Because they have nothing colorful, which means there's nothing that's going to interfere with the patient at all. This O positive person, who can they donate to?
Only positive people.
Right, which would be
A positive, B positive, AB positive. And this one.
and they
O
can always go to their own type.
And O positive.
Right. So approximately what percentage of the population is that? You can use your sheets there. So A positive is
34%.
A B positive is 10%, AB positive 4%, and O positive is 37. So
7, 8, 9, 10,
like
11, 12,
75.
13, 14, 15, 6, 7.
85.
85% of the population can receive these red cells as long as you're not a negative blood type. So if you want to remember that number, that's great. Typically, a lot of these numbers will round to about 80%. So my fun fact usually involves 80%. and there'll be another one of these, but I'm gonna leave that right there. So this, the red cells can go to 100%. We'll finish with red cells. Okay, so if you're A negative, who can your red cells go to?
B negative, AB negative, O negative.
Okay, so they can always go to their own type. Let me take the plasma out here.
Oh,
What would happen if you put these red cells in their blood?
They would clot.
Right,
So it can
so
only go to
A's
A
can't go to
negative,
B's.
so A and,
A negative,
Oh.
and that's it. A negative and O possibly.
Well, they can't go to O because the O person is gonna have these in their blood.
So they can only go to A negative.
And
A positive.
A positive?
they can put A positive. And
AB,
Because
Positive.
AB doesn't have any of the little antigens in it.
right, and they already have these sticks on half their red cells, so that's not gonna interfere.
Well, our little AB guy's gone, so.
Sorry.
A positive can go with what?
Well, we're talking about A negative right now.
Okay.
They can they can always go to their own blood type.
Mhm.
They can also go to A positive. They can go to AB positive.
And O negative? Or not?
No, because the O is gonna have.
All of those in the, it's gonna have all the antigens in it.
Yep. So this would
Oh.
interfere.
So O can't go,
Nope,
they can't go to
But
O.
there's one more.
AB.
Negative? AB negative.
AB negative. So what percentage is that? This is 34.
A negative is 6. A positive is 34. AB positive is 4. AB negative is 1.
So 45%. So not quite as good as O, right? They can go this O positive, even though they're negative blood type and their blood type is much more rare, 6% as opposed to 37%. These red cells are much more universal. Okay. B, well, let's do A positive. So I don't have a picture of an A positive, I guess, unless we.
Cool.
That's positive now. Okay. So for red cells, who can their blood go to?
They
A
can go
positive.
and
AB
AB positive. Is that it?
That's it.
Mhm.
So that's
1, yeah,
34
and 1.
and 4.
38%.
Okay. We'll go B negative and B positive. So if they're B negative, who can their blood go to? Their red cells.
B negative, B positive, AB negative, and AB positive.
Nice.
B negative is 2%, and B positive is 10%.
So 15, 16, 17. What about B positive?
I would say A B positive and AB positive.
Nice, totally getting it. Okay,
Mhm.
which is 10 and 4, so 14%. And then ABs,
They can go to AB positive and AB negative.
right, so AB positive, ABs can only go to other ABs. AB negative only to itself, or no, sorry, AB positive only to itself. AB negative can go to all ABs, but all ABs total is 5%, so
Okay.
really irrelevant.
So if you're an AB, you want to be, they want you to donate quite often,
Not for red cells.
not for
Not
us.
for red cells. Right, because any AB red cell at the most can go to 5% of the population. But that 5% can also receive blood from about 80% of the rest of the population.
Okay. So they want your plasma.
Right. Okay, so now we're gonna switch gears. Like totally got the red cells. But now we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna look at the plasma. So I'm gonna erase all these red cells. Oh, it's so sad. So we'll see if, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave that.
What was B positive again?